Can your laser do this, or even this? This is the machine interrupting the CO2 laser space, and now you can see why. People are calling this the Glowforge killer, and I'm going to show you why in this video. This may be one, if not the best lasers in the market today, and it doesn't even cost as much as its competition. You're going to see this thing engrave curved surfaces, etch and cut acrylic, engrave and cut leather, and I'm even going to try it on some stained glass based on a comment from a viewer in another video. Welcome in, guys. My name is Matt, and because of you, I get to work with tons of different laser brands, bringing you reviews and projects to make with your laser engravers. xTool sent me this laser, but they are not paying me to make this video. And as always, I'll be giving my full and honest opinion on the good and bad aspects of this machine. Here's what I'm going to cover in this video. Before we get started, let's talk about what makes this xTool P2 stand out from its competition. They call this a desktop machine, but I was very surprised with the size of this machine when it arrived. The footprint on this without the optional riser base is 39 by 25 by 11 and weighs 2 golden doodles, almost 100 pounds. But it's not the outside dimensions that are impressive. The working area is 23.5 by 12 inches compared to others in this category like Glowforge at 19.5 by 11 or the Omtech Polar at 20 by 12. And I know 4 inches is a big deal. This desktop CO2 laser is a powerful machine. Not only does it have dual built-in cameras like other machines to align your material, but it uses those cameras and laser beams to do something incredible. I'm going to show you more about this in a minute, but you can engrave tons of different curved surfaces with this machine. You can also add the riser base to increase the Z height, which opens the ability to use the rotary and the auto feed conveyor system. The Glowforge does have a pass-through, but it's a completely manual operation. I did a video on the conveyor system with the S1, so I'll be sure to leave links to those videos in the description because the process is pretty much the same. The work height without the riser base is 2.7 inches without the tray, 2.5 inches with the tray, and 8.5 inches with the riser base. For the Glowforge or Polar, you're limited to the max material height of around 2 inches. So if you wanted to engrave something like this box, you'd be completely out of luck unless you get the Glowforge Pro, which has a removable bottom. We'll talk about the cost of that sucker in a minute. Some of the other things that make this laser stand out you'll see throughout the video, so stay with me to see those projects and features. Let's talk about the power of this machine. Most lasers in this category can engrave similar materials, so I'm not going to cover the differences between this and other lasers, but you should know that this is a 55 watt laser versus the 50 watt with the Omtech Polar and a 40 to 45 watt with the Glowforge and full spectrum options. The Polar and Glowforge are great machines, but this being 55 watts just opens up a little bit more power for the thickness of materials you can cut. Let's talk about the user experience. The P2 is designed with creators in mind. Its intuitive interface and user-friendly controls make it extremely easy to operate. CO2 lasers come with a series of mirrors to pass the laser beam to the work surface. With other CO2 lasers, you'll have a lot of work positioning the mirrors, so I fully expected to have to go through this entire alignment process when this machine arrived. I was shocked when I took this machine out of the box and there was no documentation to prompt me to align the mirrors, so I took my chances and ran my first test. The mirrors were perfectly aligned right out of the box, and you'll rarely hear other YouTubers talk about having to align the mirrors on this laser. So kudos to xTool for nailing the user experience. Now for a minor complaint. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of Lightburn and would rather use that program with all of my lasers. The P2 is Lightburn compatible, but you'll need to use the XCS software if you want to take full advantage of the curved surfaces or conveyor functions I mentioned earlier. XCS or xTool Creative Space is still a decent program, and I was able to do all of the projects for this video without using Lightburn. But I do wish Lightburn would support these additional features. XCS is a free software, so you don't need to spend any additional money to get started with the P2. Oh, and one other thing that's fantastic about the desktop CO2 lasers coming out these days is the water cooling system. It's built into the machine, so you don't need an external water chiller or bucket like I did with my full spectrum Muse. Once you step up to a larger CO2 machine, you're going to need a dedicated water chiller or bucket to circulate the water. This laser is equipped with safety features like the locking lid mechanism. When your job is running, the lid actually locks so you don't actually look at the laser beam. To access your workspace while the machine is running, you'll just need to pause the job and that will unlock the lid. It has a built-in ventilation system that effectively removes the fumes and smoke, keeping your workspace clean. But let's talk about this guy. This is the xTool smoke purifier, which helps reduce the smoke and fumes in your workspace. It looks suspiciously like the WeCreate version and the Glowforge air filter, but here's the difference. The xTool and WeCreate versions of this cost $599, but the Glowforge is charging an astonishing $1,300 for theirs. If you're engraving leather or acrylic, I don't see how you could even be in the same room without one of these. When I was engraving this leather and some acrylic, I couldn't even smell anything until after I'd lifted the lid. Make sure that you keep yourself safe by adding one of these to your setup. Also included under the hood are the water cooling system and air assist. That means you don't have to have any additional cords to worry about tripping over in your shop. You know who you are. When it comes to precision and speed, the xTool P2 did really well in my tests. I always like to run material tests and get the best results with my lasers, and I was able to get accurate results at a much higher speed than I'm used to within CO2 lasers in this category. I love when you guys leave comments, and I always reply to them, but sometimes people will ask about the speed or power settings I use. Because every material is different with some variation, your environment may be different, or the age of your machine may be different, I recommend running regular speed and power tests for your materials. For this, I prefer to use Lightburn, but you can go and accomplish the same thing with the XCS software. While you can run this machine at the advertised speed of 600 millimeters per second, you'll probably be much happier with a slower speed to get better results. One of the things that really makes this laser unique for a CO2 laser is engraving curved surfaces like this bowl, or this bowl, or this bowl. You get the idea. All you have to do is place the material in and run the curved surface measuring tool in XCS. It will use a combination of the camera and red diode beams to gauge the curved area, and then you can place your design in the curved area and watch the laser do its thing. It's really cool to watch the laser head follow the profile of the curved surface, and as far as the results go, the depth is very consistent across the whole surface. This really opens up the possibilities, but you'll likely want to have the riser base to take full advantage of this feature. I think this is such a great feature, especially if you're a wood turner. Some of my friends have run tests similar to xTool by engraving grains of rice, corn, and toothpicks. Unless you're a high-end fusion restaurant, that method is probably not something that you're actually going to be doing. I thought I'd try a more practical process by engraving these beads for some bracelets. The hardest part was making sure that the air assist didn't blow them all around, but once I got the process down, the accuracy where the engraving appeared on the beads compared to where the camera showed that they would be was very accurate. Other lasers that include only one camera are often less accurate, but incorporating a close-range camera made this process much better. The camera is also needed if you want to engrave tumblers or use the Rotary. The process for doing tumblers is a bit different than other systems I've used because you pick the highest point for your measurement and then start your engraving to the right side, which brings me to another small gripe. I wish that you could set the center line and have it engrave on both sides of the line, which I think would be as simple as an update in the XCS software, but as of right now, if you want to center something over a particular area, you need to find the left side of where you want the engraving to start and go from there. The software asks for millimeters for either the circumference or the diameter of a round object. You can use the included tape measure or get yourself a nice set of calipers and you'll be fine. A CO2 laser is the machine you want if you want to etch glass or acrylic. Diode lasers require you to paint glass and won't even touch acrylic. So for this type of thing, you're going to want a CO2 laser. I ran some projects with this laser on various types of acrylic and it worked perfectly. But how would it answer the question from a previous video about cutting stained glass? I've seen CO2 lasers that can cut almost an 1/8 inch of glass, so I wasn't sure how this test would go since the glass that I tried cutting was almost 1/4 inch. I tried so many different speeds and feeds, and to avoid this video being an hour long to show you all of those tests, I'll just say this. It did make a significant impact at high power and moderate speed. but it didn't cut even halfway through the glass. But even stained glass workers don't typically cut all of the way through the glass. They score the glass and then they break it. So that's what I did in my test. After many failed attempts at cutting mostly through the glass, I wondered what running about 40 passes would do, and wouldn't you know.
Ha! Look at that. Look at that.
It actually worked. So would I recommend using this method for cutting stained glass? Considering it took about the same amount of time to score as it would take manually, I'm not sure. It did score a straight line, so if that's all you need to do is to make a straight line, I think it would work great. But if you're looking to do curves and stuff like that, it's probably not gonna work. I'd probably stick with the traditional method. This laser can cut a ton of different materials, and I would say the trade-off from this machine to a diode laser is you're not really going to be able to mark metals without using a marking spray, but it can cut all types of different acrylics, and apparently it can cut stained glass. To get into the desktop CO2 laser category, it will cost you a bit more than the popular diode category. Right now, this P2 is on sale for $4,500, but it's 25% less than its competitor, the Glowforge, which costs an astronomical $59.95, and you get a lot more capacity and expandability with this machine. If you use the code in the description, you can get an additional discount, so make sure that you check that out. Now, if you're on the fence on this machine over the S1 diode laser from xTool, take a look at the types of projects you think you'll be making and base your decision on that. If you're marketing your services well, both lasers are going to pay for themselves fairly quickly. But if you want to know more about the 40-watt S1 laser, check out this video right here and click subscribe so you can see the next laser I'm currently reviewing. Thanks for watching.